All right, let's see what Academics is talking about with does Uzi care about numbers after the official first week sales for Pink Tape release, 165K. Still waiting on Love is Rage 3. By the way, he did announce on like some reel that we posted on all socials that it is coming out in a couple of months. So don't wait up on it. I already told y'all Travis Scott's dropping soon. Drake is dropping soon. We might even get some Cardi soon because he's been teasing new music, but wait on that too because we have no idea. And you know how that boy rolls. But anyway, let's see what Academics says.
You guys follow me, which you obviously should, whether it's on Twitter, Threads, or obviously Instagram. You'll notice that I tweeted out that Uzi, the Pink Tape, it's on pace to sell 100.
By the way, this was the first album I saw on Twitter that has sold over 150K in 2023. So as we discussed with like Billboard rules or whatever it may be, just the new landscape, maybe hip hop's becoming less popular. With all that being said, Uzi still has the #1 selling album in 2023. Now, this was the case for 2020, I believe, until maybe like, I don't know, maybe Drake dropped or something, but it was hard to beat with Eternal Atake, like 2-something K. But then again, Lil Baby and Lil Durk did end up selling more, I believe. Or maybe it was just Lil Baby and The Weeknd, maybe just more total sales throughout the year. But like, if we're talking first week, Uzi always brings up the hype.
165,000 copies. Now, I have to be honest with you because I've seen a lot of people looking at it and they start looking at it in a very weird light. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think Uzi fan pages have to take they're going to have to take some blame for this. Uzi fan pages put out an incorrect number earlier on, saying that Uzi was supposed to sell between like either
220, 250K. Yes, that's what I said. It was like, that was not even an official number, bro. I don't know how they came up with the 220. And then I saw some fan page saying that with merch bundles, he really sold 218K. And it's like, where are you getting this from? Bro hasn't even released the merch yet. Or maybe he has, but I haven't seen it because, again, Uzi merch is always kind of trash. It's kind of fruity. He's more of a stream god. But come on, where are y'all getting these estimates from?
100 and 230 or 220 between
250. No, it was 200 to 250, which is crazy.
Like 220
to 250.
To 250. That was never a confirmed number. That was people doing amateur calculations and also just, you know, being fans and trying to wish it into existence. That just wasn't the case. Uzi Pink Tape is scheduled to be selling around 165,000 from what I've seen. I don't want to give you no preliminary thoughts. That number is accurate, but whether it lands at 175, whether it lands at
I'm pretty sure like the official numbers came out at 165 as well. So the projections came on later that week, like in the week, and then it just stayed the same.
60, whether it lands at 150 or 155 is going to, you'll hear about it tomorrow. Here's my thing on it. I don't think Uzi flopped. Now,
I don't know.
Here, I'm gonna
again, top rap album in 2023. It's not a flop. If we're just talking about like, also, Eternal Atake had so much hype behind it, whereas Pink Tape, I know it was his first solo project in like 3 years, but he did drop Pluto Baby Pluto. He dropped a whole ass another album for Eternal Atake with the deluxe, Those Who Verse the World 2. And then he also dropped Red and White EP. So like, and he dropped a single, Demon High, that didn't even end up going on the album because it was kind of like, I guess we kind of got a hint that he was trying to go into more of that punk / rock type wave, but he went hardcore in that.
To be very honest, I think this album is not exactly what people expected. By the way, when I listened to the album, I know I didn't listen to it live with y'all, but I heard it in studio. It was a few songs when I heard it live that was very reminiscent of this is what me as a Uzi fan loves.
Flooded the Face.
And then this was also progressive Uzi. Now, I have a little bit more understanding than y'all because I talked to the nigga before. And when I talked to him, he said a few things. He said, number one, you know, when comparing his art to whether a Future or whatever, he said, I'm more like Young Thug because I like to be experimentative. I like to try new things. I could keep doing things that I've done before, but I want to push the envelope. Second of all,
I still feel like he could have made actual rock songs instead of cover songs because it would just be more original. Like, why recreate? We've already gone over this. Why recreate really popular songs that, of course, the original is going to be better because their voice was meant for it. Like, that was their lane. It's the exact type of music their fans liked, and so they really that was their top tier music there. Whereas if a rapper comes in, like, he almost needs help of a producer to like really hit the spot, or he just even be palatable.
He made sure to, at least for me, he played music and songs that I was like, oh yeah, these are the type of songs I like. Now, granted, I don't know what his plan is. I think he has much more music to deliver. I don't think he wanted to do this as an EA process where he's like, hey, I'm dropping one week and the next week. This was supposed to be, if you ask me, and this is only my opinion, this was supposed to be a mixtape. And this
that's what I was saying, Pink Tape. Although it was promoted like an album. But that's why I kept saying, like, I don't know. I don't understand the whole concept of Pink Tape to boost as your, like, your biggest crop. You know, after 3 years, like, this is the tape that you're going to drop or the album that you're going to drop. Like, save that for Love is Rage 3. If you want to drop a little mixtape, kind of like the Red and White EP, so be it. But Love is Rage 3, I just feel like will carry way more weight, which we'll see in the next couple months.
Mixtape has gotten so much pressure and so much anxiety, I think, got built up on his part because people expected so much that he felt he had to do more. He wanted to create this body of work, but he doesn't want to let down his fans. To me, I think it's cool. This is not an album. The Pink Tape, let me repeat, is not an album. This is not what his original vision on it.
It was clearly an album, bruh. The budgets were there. This got promoted more than any mixtape. You know what I mean? It was called Pink Tape, but it was an album.
Vision is for it. By the way, will it count as an album? It probably will.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has other music that he's planned to put out, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I hope he doesn't drop as a response to fans being upset. Trust me, when I talked to Uzi, I heard a person who wanted to be the person who people fell in love with, which is a person who was willing to take chances, but he didn't want to be the person who didn't deliver. And that was really hard to do because it felt like for him, he had to keep doing the things that y'all love or keep making the same stuff or not really get the chance to grow as an artist. That's as much as I took away from that. So everything I kind of heard, I heard him being influenced. I heard him learning. I heard him trying. I heard him being an artist.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to draw comparisons here, but it lines up correctly, if you ask me, where Cardi dropped a whole lot of Red, right? And it was trash at the beginning. However, the whole concept behind Cardi right now, or the whole narrative, is that he could literally do anything because people, as Uzi said, fell in love with him and they will follow whatever he does. I told y'all, he could literally drop a tape where he's just on the toilet shitting and people can be like, oh, this is all these interpretations and be like, oh, well, I think he's talking about the Civil War and how, the Confederates, blah, 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 blah. And so, again, people will make themselves enjoy anything he does or at least appreciate anything he does. Whereas Uzi, like we all know, the whole narrative behind him, not saying it's necessarily true, is that he's past his prime. He's past his peak, at least if we're talking about like quality of music and numbers, to be honest. So I feel like that's what Uzi wants. And it's really hard because Cardi kind of took that, whereas Uzi's peak, though, he literally had it in the bag. Not necessarily because he was experimenting all too much. It's just like his music was so fire. And so I think that's why people are kind of comparing Pink Tape to Whole Lotta Red, because it did have rock elements just like Whole Lotta Red, but he did push it a little farther. I don't know if he has as strong of a chokehold on his fan base though. So I don't know, like, you kind of have to feel out your fan base to see if you have the leverage or the room to experiment. But like, I don't know, after 3 years, I feel like you have to really deliver, and you might have to play it safe a little bit. Like if he dropped all songs like Flooded the Face, I think everybody would have been cheering, like this would have been the greatest project ever. Like, he's back, Uzi's back. I understand he wants to evolve, but to experiment almost, I feel like you want to do it in short spurts. I always say like drop on SoundCloud or like drop a little EP, something that like there's not a lot of pressure for sales, like with what Academics and is talking about with Uzi. Because when you're going for sales, especially when your reputation is on the line, you do want to play it safe. You want to be a little bit conservative. But that's just my take. Obviously, Uzi's going to do whatever he wants. He's still selling well. He's still a GOAT.
It is. And again, you know, hopefully I get him off the record. You know, I talked to him about it like 2 days ago, actually. Hopefully it happens. Bro, he was just so honest. He was so honest and humble. He was just like, yo, Act, I know you think like I'm just like the GOAT because I've created all these great songs and great music you love. But trust me, I'm figuring shit out now too. I want to progress. I want to grow. I want to get better. I want to, like, I'm working with new instrumentals that I've never fucked with before. Like, if you brought these instrumentals to 2016, I'll be lost. He's like, music is changing. And I'm...
At the same time, though, becoming more complex isn't necessarily always the best thing. So that's why I think when artists start evolving or whatever, I said this in previous clips, you don't, just because you hopped on another like instrumental, yeah, you learned how to do that, but there's a product market fit element where you might have passed completely where the fans really wanted the music. You can't go too fast, if you know what I'm saying. So just because you're doing something different, in my opinion, doesn't mean you're evolving. Does that make sense at all?
Trying to, like, it was so honest with him saying that. I thought he was gonna be so arrogant, like, oh no, I'm the fucking GOAT. Y'all gonna like what I put out. And he was like, yo, I'm working on this shit, and trust me, people are gonna enjoy it, but I have to have that little room to grow and room to, okay, let me do this a little bit different. Because if I'm forced, this is what I got from it. If I'm forced to just,
it's like if, I don't know, an ice cream store starts making, like Ben & Jerry's starts making like ketchup. They're technically evolving, right? It's like, no, we don't want your goddamn ketchup, bro. We have Heinz or Hunt's or whatever those brands that make ketchup. Like when we want to eat ketchup, we go to those brands, you know? So you got to kind of stay in your lane a little bit. No offense. He can still, I feel like Uzi already had like rock elements, but he just pushed it a little bit too far on some of those songs. Like I've talked to a lot of people about Pink Tape, and it's like, it's a pretty, aside from all the dick eaters that are going to like support Uzi no matter what. And I always support Uzi, but the people who are like objective, like maybe casual fans, they're like, you know, I don't understand why he dropped those.
Give people what they want in Love Is Rage.
He'll be stuck in a box.
I'll be stuck. And again, you could call it accurate copping, please. I probably am. But I talked to the nigga before the nigga played me.
I think everybody's in a box though. Like everybody. I thought I was in a box. I thought I was the only one in a box for like YouTube content creation, like artists I could talk about or whatever. But then I started talking to other content creators, like they can only really do this. And then, you know, an artist can only make this type of music. Because when you're at such a high level, you almost, like there is that pressure to perform. If you're fucking Shaq, you're not just going to start popping threes. Like you got to go in the game, stick in the paint, and you got to be dunking on people, right? You're not, nobody wants you to be, honestly, you're probably not going to be that good shooting threes. Even if you practice like for 3 years straight doing that, your job is, everyone plays a role here. Like you're supposed to be in the paint. You can maybe step outside a little bit and do elbow shots, the corner shots, but you know what I'm saying?
His music. And when you talk to somebody, his nigga who don't talk that much, and he plays his music, I'm sorry, maybe I'm coming off defending it, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Like, you don't. He did good. Act like 165 is amazing. Like, I think that's great. You don't gotta, you don't gotta defend that shit. That shit is good. These niggas is selling his numbers 15K.
His numbers never got to be defended. But
I also want to say, in Uzi's defense, that when you're at the top, that's when the pressure is on, because there's only one way you can go now. When you sell 300K, like, it's going to be hard to hit that again. So, of course, again, the pressure's on. You got to perform. So 165 is not necessarily bad. I just think people are trying to draw comparisons to the Eternal Take. Again, I think if he was really going for the home run sales-wise, which Ak might be getting into in a sec, like, does he care about numbers? I feel like he should have gone with Love Is Rage. Because Eternal Take wasn't a series. Love Is Rage, usually like a love letter to you by Trippy and other artists. Like the series always garner hype. It's almost like sequels of movies.
I do know his fans because I'm one of those people. And when I sat in that room with him, when he played the album, he says, Ak, I know you've been one of my biggest fans. I know you love so much of my music, but you also have to know that I have to also grow and create. I know the music that you fucking love. I know it. And hearing that was like, okay, cool. So it's not like he's out of touch, but also you have somebody who is not trying to just, oh, okay, I'm glad that I came in at the right spot and I'm Lil Uzi Vert. Let me just try to keep making the music that makes you feel like this is 2016 to 2018, and that if you love that music, no, he's fucking trying. So again,
also, though, when you step outside the box, and I am an advocate for everybody trying to experiment and create new things, especially when you are an artiste and a creator like Uzi, but when your frequency of releasing music is so low, like you don't drop until like every 3 years or something like that, I feel like just release music more often and then like let people know like this is the one that we're gonna be like pushing real hard on the album, like as in when you do the Love Is Rage series and you're going for the sales, you know, like this is the music that everybody loves. But when you're like, yo, like kind of Trippy Red did it with Neon Shark with the Rock album, it didn't have too much hype behind it. He didn't really like put too much pressure on it because he was just venturing out and doing new things. I feel like Uzi could have done that instead of like putting it all into one project where the cohesion of the track list was just like very messy.
I give him that leeway because he's an artist. The sales, I think the sales are fine. I look at it and I see it, to me, was 60% experimentative and 40% shit that I know is in his pocket.
Yeah.
When I hear him tweet out that,
I'd agree. There are a lot. I've been listening to Pink Tape. It's growing on me. I love a lot of songs on there, like Pluto to Mars, of course, Flooded the Face, the more introspective songs. I even started to like crush him more, even though I loved that my first listen. A by Travis and him. Like, he has a lot of good songs on there, but there are a lot of like, what the hell type songs are these on here, bro?
that, yo, do y'all want him to give y'all whatever? That's because he knows his fans. And he's very perceptive. And he didn't go away or didn't drop for a couple of years to not give his fans what he wants, what y'all want. So he got what y'all want, but he also wants y'all to grow with him a bit. And I think that's hard to do. So I know at some point he's going to drop more music. His songs thus far, again, not all them songs was for me. I'll tell y'all that now.
Facts.
But do I think that he was a failure? Fuck no. Do I think that it didn't sound good? The songs that I enjoyed, of course I liked it.
Me too.
Do I think the sales are a failure? Fuck no. The Pink Tape was supposed to be kind of like a quasi tape of, yo, I ain't dropped for a while. Here's the Pink Tape. I got other shit coming on. One thing I'll say about him, pressure is a huge thing for these artists. And, you know, I remember constantly asking that question.
I truly think that's why Cardi doesn't drop very often too. Because like he has a lot, I feel like he might have more pressure than Uzi because everybody's expecting him to like shake things up. Like all the underground artists are going to copy what he does. He's one of the most influential right now. And so if he comes back with like, again, like a whole lot of red V2 type thing, well, actually there's already that, but like, you know, 2.0, like people are going to be like, oh, maybe Cardi isn't really that guy anymore. Like it was all overhyped. So he's really, that's why on these new songs he's performing, like he's going like doubling down on this heavy metal.
It's fucking hard when you're an artist where people expect you to be like you to drop 80 points a game. But really you're working on your fadeaway jump shot and shit. Maybe you're not going to have the best games for the next like couple weeks, but people are like, nah, we don't want to hear that. We want you to be whatever. So, hey, call it coping or whatever. Call it accurate, making excuses. I liked what I heard, but also if it was an album, I'd probably be a little bit harder there. I ain't gonna lie to you. If it was
that shit was successful, Ag.
Here's a question.
How many songs you think gonna go top 10?
Hold on. All of them, like 3, 4 of them. But no, Ag, did you hear any songs that wasn't on the pink tape?
I wonder if he heard the Cardi one. He's like,
yes.
I heard the God Almighty.
So no.
I feel like I did. There's a few, so here's the interesting part. There's a few songs that I heard that I'm going back and I'm trying to find on the joint and I haven't found it.
You didn't like Rehab? I love Rehab. That's my favorite song.
No. I'm talking about songs I heard when he...
Where did he get that from? Like, he didn't even mention Rehab.
Played me the shit. You know what I mean? Like, all right, bet. Because he didn't play me 27 songs, by the way. I think he had a palette of songs that he's like, yo, I'm going to play these for Act. We took shots. We were chilling. We were talking shit, blah, blah. It's like, yo, check this out. Right? Like, obviously, the one with him and Travis, they're like, yeah, right? But, like, there was a particular group of songs. Like, he wasn't hitting me with the all rock songs. That's what I'm saying. He's perceptive. He's like, Act, I know what you like. I'm going to play you certain songs, but also, I got to tell you about what the fuck I'm into. What the fuck I've been trying.
He didn't play you the song with Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely?
No.
That was never going to be on the album. If anything, that's going to be on like Lone or Ken's album, or it's going to be a leak. Just because, again, why put smaller artists on your project? Other than Ken was producer on X2, right? But like, if you're going for sales, like you're a big hitter, you're a top dog. That's why I only had Travis and Don Toliver on there.
Oh, man. Did you hear the song with Nicki before?
Oh, and Nicki.
No.
I thought that was gonna be the first song in hip hop to go #1 of the year, but I guess we're gonna have to wait on Drake.
You probably heard Love Is Rage 3.
No,
Well,
I don't think so.
No. I think it's a mix. Yo, what y'all think is Love Is Rage 3 or whatever the case is? I think Uzi has just palettes of songs. And I'm telling you,
He's got like quasi projects that are for certain people. That's kind of dope. Like, it's not necessarily pink tape. He just has music that are in folders or that he knows that like this person will like, or like who I don't know, if he plays it for a certain producer that he wants to check out the music. He's got like half pink tape, half Love Is Rage 3, maybe some sprinkles of songs of like whatever he's working on, like Forever Young, even though I don't even know if that's a project, but that's kind of dope.
this is just my only personal opinion. I think Uzi sees other people, and I think he's one of those too. He's pushing the envelope. Like I told you, the entire time I was with Uzi, what I was most shocked about the most is I remember telling him, and no disrespect to Destroy Lonely or Ken Carson, maybe, I don't know, I was lit, so maybe it came off disrespectful, but I remember saying to him, because he was saying, yo, Act, I know you think I'm like this GOAT at music, but like right now, this is their time, and I'm inspired by them. And I remember just saying to him, I'm like, yo, Uzi, what the fuck are you talking about? You're the fucking GOAT, okay?
No, I mean, like, they do have their own sounds. And I feel like even on A Whole Lot of Red, because Ken again did produce, like, Beano, I think, on A Whole Lot of Red, And he did like Yale and what was it? Not Teen X. It was the project that Ken released before A Whole Lot of Red. Like, it had more of that rage electronic sound, which I do feel like Cardi did kind of take influence by before he dropped. And that's why maybe he recorded the version that he did release. You know, people said that he recorded it like a couple weeks before he actually released the project, aside from a couple songs like Neon that actually leaked, and Place that he recorded way back too. But I do think like Lone and Ken, and maybe even Sofago, like, and Yeet, that Uzi, Cardi, all of them, they're watching because they see the new sounds. That's exactly what they did in 2016, right? Uzi was like the one that was inspiring like Wiz Khalifa and other rappers who gave them cosigns and gave them features, because they were like, damn, these new kids on the block, because that's where the new and fresh sounds come from, the younger kids, because they know exactly what the fans want. Whereas the older people, they're perceptive, of course, but like, not that they're out of touch, but that's just how it goes. The rap game is like, we got 16-year-olds coming in the game every single year, bringing in new stuff.
Hey, like, they're in the room too. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm just looking at him like, yo, Uzi, hold on. No disrespect, Ken Carson. You're the GOAT. We just love you. Whatever you do. And like, he was just so complimentary, and I was just like, oh shit, like, this is a nigga who is so fucking humble that he's able to say that some of the new guys coming up and doing their thing, he says they're pushing him. He's not just like, he could let his nuts hang and be like, yo, man, this nigga's, he's inspired by this and me. No, he was fucking complimentary to the utmost. And shit, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That was like really impressive, if you ask me.
Hey, man, I like that he put Baby Metal on the album, bro, and in Rehab. He put some anime. He put some anime on that motherfucker, bro. And you probably would not like that song, so I don't know if you heard that. You definitely probably.
I like the Chop Suey song, bro. That one was fire.
Any Chop Suey fan will be like, yo, what the hell are you talking about?
I hope he's not being hard on himself, because the project was good, and honestly, his numbers was amazing, bro. Personally.
Amazing.
Hey, facts. Like, I'm glad you said that. I honestly believe that's what it is, bro. I think Uzi is probably one of his harshest critics. Bro, I could tell, like, me and him talking, he was describing just like, it's just so fucking hard to be him as an artist who wants to grow, but not also be beholden.
I mean, yeah, because he sees so many artists like Trippy or all these other art, even himself. It's happening to him too, where everybody's saying, all the fans, like, go back to your old sound. And this happens to like every rapper. And when you're at the top, like, again, there's so much pressure because you have these sales that come out and you're supposed to be the top dog. But if you do something so crazy and sales come out like under even 100K, he would have been shat on relentlessly.
Into these numbers, don't want to be beholden to, you know, an entire fan base, and also like an entire like part of culture saying, oh, we didn't get what we want. Like
I get it.
Imagine a fan base saying we didn't get what we want.
This is like, what you want as the artist, bro.
True.
Well, it's hard to do. It's hard to be like,
you gotta say fuck these niggas, bro. If Cardi would have said, nah, I'm gonna listen to what everybody.
But Cardi's the exception, bro. You can't. Not everybody can be Cardi, because if you start giving the fans, I'm not saying Uzi can't, and like this might not apply to Uzi, because Uzi and Cardi are like in their own category. But like, again, the music business is a business. You need a product that fits the market. If you make too many projects, like even if I make too many videos or whatever streams where I'm talking about things that maybe I want to talk about, but nobody's listening to, like, you're going to start falling off. So you have to have this balance of like evolving, but also giving the fans what they want. So honestly, I think Pink Tape was a good mix of that. I'll give him that. Had Flood the Face, of course, like some of the classic sounds, Pluto to Mars. And then it had some of the new stuff that he wanted. He tested it out, saw if people still mess with it. I'm going to check out the streams real quick to see if people were messing with it, like, see in comparison to all the other songs on there. Flooded the Face is the most popular on this project, other than Just Wanna Rock. So I just want to point that out there, which makes sense. It is the first song though. It's the intro, so it's gonna get the most streams out there. Let's see, Endless Fashion, okay, so those make sense. But let's see again what the streams did for like the Chop Suey song. Let's see, 4 million versus 6. That's the one, another rock song, Pluto to Mars. So you can already see like the more classic type Uzi songs. These are at the end of the project, but like, of course, is hanging in there. Zoom is hanging in there, but like, of course, Suicide Doors, the classic, what you expected from evolution of rap from, say, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, like he was talking about, like the newer sounds, maybe Yeet and Sofago influence, Crush 'em. They're doing better than the, let's see, like rock alternative metal type music that he's making. Nakamura, yeah, people didn't like it looks like people didn't like the introspective songs as much, even though those are some of my favorite, to be honest. And the Baby Metal one, okay, shout out that song. I guess people like that too. So yeah, man, it'd be hard to be Uzi though, for sure, trying to keep everybody satisfied. But that's the thing, if you try to satisfy everybody, pause, you will satisfy nobody. So you kind of gotta pick one, preferably the one that is the majority though.
Everybody I'm gonna get them pissy pamper Cancun. No, nigga, you gonna listen to whatever the fuck I give you, nigga. If you don't like it, suck my dick.
Boom. Why? The reason why I said that his numbers is great is because the niggas in his era, half them niggas can't even do 15K, 20K, bro. So I feel like it's great for Uzi.
Yo, fact, you keep bringing up the numbers. What if you're not worried about the numbers? What if you really people think his album is trash?
No, I don't think that he worried about if people think his album is trash. He's worried about the numbers. All of these artists is worried about the numbers. It's the numbers that put them to pressure.
I wouldn't say he's worried, because I remember, like, bro,
I don't even think that the numbers, because I'm pretty sure it was projected to do 165 like throughout the week. Again, the 220 to 250 was fake by some fan pages that just estimated it out of nowhere. I don't understand how they did it. Maybe they were doing worldwide streams as opposed to just the US, which is normally how it's calculated for Billboard. Now, is he worried about numbers? No, I don't think so, at least, because you can kind of project that before the album drops, no matter what type of music is on it, just because of the hype around it. Are people going to be streaming it the first day or the first couple of days? That's when most people listen to the album. That's like the huge surge, and then it kind of drops off. So you can kind of do whatever you want on the project. Now, the sales throughout the rest of the year, that's more so the quality of the album, if you ask me. Again, just opinion. So I think 165 was kind of like what he was aiming for, or like that range. Originally, we were saying like 150, and then the hype started growing, and I was like 200. So I don't know if like the rock songs really influenced the sales, or like the quality of the album really equated to the sales. It was gonna happen regardless.
When he dropped the first cover art, allegedly, like, Uzi Rare Updates made him change the cover art to a different cover.
He gotta stop listening to Uru, man. Like, I don't even know why he's talking to him. Like, anybody, and this goes for me too, as in like applies to me. If someone doesn't know how to like engineer music or produce music or whatever, don't listen to them about like distorted 808s or whatever. We have a very surface level opinion. So listen to like actual producers in the game that are kind of like, even Cody. I love Cody's production from Internet Money. I feel like he's always on the forefront of the new sounds. Like, he would be a perfect person to ask, like, is this up with the times or whatnot? A fan page is just, who especially is just always hating on I feel like he can't be satisfied whatsoever with anything. So I don't know why he's asking, especially with like cover arts and whatever. He's like always bringing in super, I don't know, deep interpretations of everything. It's like, no, it's not that deep, bro.
Cover art. So like, people tell him shit and he switches it up and shit. And sometimes he got to just believe in what he believes. You know what I'm saying? And just
I agree.
What he wanted
facts. I'm surprised, y'all surprised, because there was an interview with Zane Lowe where Uzi has said for the longest time that he's not that confident with the music he makes.
I don't believe that. I think
he said,
I believe that. No, hold on.
I feel like all the artists are insecure, bro. Especially with social media, like you cannot be secure fully unless you're not reading comments, because you don't know what's gonna work all the time, or you do, but like when you're stepping outside the box, you don't know what's gonna work, and you don't want to get hated on. And he's already getting hated on all the time. People like, even he put the Charleston White snippet or whatever, a sample of him saying, "I would never listen to Uzi Vert," like a pissy something, like I don't know, like he weren't painting his nails, a pissified, sissified. It's like he hears all that shit. How can you not be insecure if you hear that?
The reason why is that, bro, he was describing what just great music was to me, and he was just like, people don't realize how much it's changing. That's when he talked about the "I Wanna Rock" song. He was just like, yo, that song's trash. He was just,
thank you. I'm glad that even he said it, because look, that song is not a song, bro. It's just a jingle for TikTok, and then it blew up, so he had to like capitalize on it for the money. But like, it was not even a song. I'm not even gonna say it's a bad song. It just wasn't even a song. It was just like, I just want to rock. He did a little dance move, and that's it. I'm glad that he even came out, because some people were acting like that was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, dude, you're just dick riding trends at this point.
I know it was a leak.
Well, he said, I fucked around and I made it. It was like, this is not a song that I worked on hard, and
that's what's fucked about TikTok and everything too, though, because something blows up. It's a blessing and a curse, because something blows up, so you know it's gonna do well if you release it. But then again, it might just be a song, like especially with the audience on TikTok, it might not be an actual good song. It just works on little skits and jingles and dances, so you gotta drop it, and then that just ruins the whole like perception of the album. Like you have to form your whole project around those nowadays. Like I know a lot of producers in the industry say how you almost have to make music for TikTok. If it doesn't blow up on TikTok, the label's not even giving you the money to like promote it, because why throw money into something that's like a low or a high risk, low return investment, you know?
Came out of it, I'm like, yo, I hope people loved it. And he's like, yo, there's might be people that's going to this album thinking, oh, I'm gonna have a bunch of Jersey Club. He was like, no, that's not what this is. And he was just like, yo, that's just the dynamic of music. You have something where somebody works on for forever, it doesn't materialize, and then something that somebody fucked around with, it's the biggest song.
Yep, so that's how every hit song works.
That's how it works sometimes, though. I feel like even for YouTube, I'll like work super hard in a video, and then it just flops. And then I'll do like some one take, it'll blow up. And it's like, damn, that was something I didn't even care about really. And not that it's the same thing, but also with creativity, the things that blow up are on the fly, because that's when you're the most creative, like the most free flowing. You're not really caring. There's no pressure. You're just doing stupid little Jersey Club dances in the studio.
So I was half asleep listening to the stream, but I gotta say this. Well, did nobody mention the fact that his music sound like he biting Cardi, like, and then Cardi, how it sound like your music is biting Cardi?
Because of the metal, man. It's not necessarily a whole lot of red, but if you listen to the snippets where Cardi's been performing at Rolling Loud, he's been more on that metal type wave, whereas Uzi didn't really have any previews of that. By the way, where did that one song go that was like, shout out to Cardi, we don't talk hardly? Did that never drop? Or is that on the project and I just missed the lyrics?
I don't think so, bro. He's just exploring his sound, bro. It don't sound like the old Uzi sound. He's elevating, bro.
But sometimes we can be honest.
So Cardi's the first nigga to have a guitar and rock beat.
You're bugging, Kyrie.
If anything,
well, it's not about that. It's like he popularized it more, whereas rap wasn't necessarily doing all of that. Although X and Juice were implementing more alternative vibes, but that was a few years back.
Cardi biting Lil Wayne.
I'm just being honest.
No. If anything, Cardi biting Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne was the first nigga to do a rock album.
That's cool. We can say that about both of them, though. That you taking it back to Lil Wayne.
Hey, hold on. I'll keep it all the way 100.
If
my personal opinion,
he was in the studio with Ken Carson, and he was looking up.
My personal opinion, Playboy Cardi's influencing everybody.
I didn't say it. I had a friend hit me up sending me a tweet about like Cardi this, Cardi that. I'm like, look, you don't have to like the music, but you cannot deny the influence. Like, go check any like Instagram post or anything posted about Cardi, not promoted, completely organic, and it's washing every single other artist's post. Like, oh, he previewed new music. Like, every artist does that. Every blog does promo like that on different artists that are paid, and it just doesn't, like, nobody cares. Now, when Cardi steps in the building, like, everybody's watching. You cannot deny that. Again, you don't have to like it, but
that's true.
I'm just sorry to say, I think Playboi Carti is influencing YoungBoy. I feel like he's influenced Uzi.
Thank God. When I said that, YoungBoy's manager and YoungBoy got all butthurt posting about me, saying that I was hating. I was like, bro, you named a song Red and you were using rage beats that were similar to a whole lot of Red. Everybody can hear it, bro. And then what are they doing now? Collab tape. Why? Because YoungBoy probably wanted to work with him.
To a certain extent, he's obviously influenced Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and a shit ton of other niggas. And I'm gonna be honest with you.
X was doing that though. X was doing that before Cardi though.
No, but that's the point I'm making. I think both of these,
bro. X was doing that before Cardi though. Like, we not gonna act like Cardi just the fucking
the god, like he's not god
music, bro.
Like,
real all I'm asking is, what happened to niggas saying biting is trash? Because that's what it sounds.
There's a difference though between like doing it first and influence. Like, because X was doing that, and then maybe some artists kind of copied it, but not a lot of artists were doing the metal after X, or the more rock, filthy type beats after X. Whereas Cardi, when he dropped a whole lot of Red, literally everybody was doing it. So yes, you could do it first, but who is popularizing it? That's where influence is, in my opinion, not the origination. There's a lot of inventors that, like, I've even heard Thomas Edison didn't even invent a light bulb or something. And then he just took, you know, the credit, and then now he's the influencer, quote unquote, of the light bulb and electricity or whatever, when that Tesla guy or somebody else maybe did it. And so now, like, Thomas Edison is Cardi in this scenario.
No,
I don't think he's biting, though, bro.
I don't think even Cardi would even remotely say it's biting. I
do think it's a little bit of influence though. Although I feel like Uzi was on this rock lane before, but to go that hardcore in that lane, like Cardi was previewing snippets like the metal stuff before Uzi dropped it. Now Uzi could have been making that type of music prior, so who knows? You really got to be behind the scenes to know.
These guys have cracked a new wave, and it's a new wave for the youth. I think Playboi Carti is probably the guy who stepped on the moon first with it, but you're seeing a bunch of new rappers go down this realm and kind of redefine it and kind of mold it into their own. And I think this is why Uzi's also down this realm. By the way, I'm telling y'all this too.
All right, so y'all heard academics. Just realize that artists are the most critical of themselves. I do think Love is Rage 3 will be a better project overall than Pink Tape, just because it'll be more like classic sound, which I think he's trying to do. Like, I feel like you gotta go, it's a pendulum. You gotta go back and forth, like experiment and then come back. But like, when you come back, you don't fully come back to like Love is Rage 2 sound. You get what I'm saying? So you're like still evolving, but you're going farther and farther away from where you were. But you kind of gotta progress slowly. That's the only thing I gotta say. And that's why I think it was good that Pink Tape only had a few songs that were on this rock wave that, again, I did have a little bit of criticism for, but I appreciate what Uzi did. So I know a lot of people were thinking I was hating. I'm not. I'm just not dick sucking. I thought it was a good project. I still listen to it today. I've been listening to, of course, like, I know that was an old song, like every day, and Flooded the Face.